to make an addendum to my video from yesterday about why cops suck, which is really mostly a video about what to do when you're in a stressful, quasi-emergency situation. I had locked my keys in my truck and was trying to figure out what to do about it. One of the advice points I gave was to do something good for yourself right away, to give yourself some space or a moment of time to figure out what your options are. And my response to that was to go slum it up at Starbucks and get a coffee and a slice of cake. I've been thinking about that a lot today for several reasons, mostly because I really dislike Starbucks. I don't think it's an ethical corporation. I don't really think their coffee is all that good, and you know, it edges out mom and pop coffee shops. So I try not to support entities like that, but sure enough, I sure did yesterday. I gave myself permission to do that, but more so to the point is that I'm not supposed to be drinking coffee or consuming sugar, a lot of other things also, because my adrenals are fatigued, and things like coffee and sugar definitely don't do anything good to support my adrenal glands, and this is something that I've been aware of for a few months now. So I've been kind of mulling that over, why did I make that decision to do that? At the time, it felt good. I think what I was really after was just to create a space to just be left alone for a minute and feed my body with something so that I could take my focus off of feeling uncomfortable about the fact that I'm potentially stranded 30 miles from home and don't have anybody local I could call. So today I've been thinking about what it is about coffee specifically that's been so hard for me to let go of for the purpose of feeling better. Since I found out a couple months ago now, I guess, that my adrenals are in fact stressed, I have been doing a lot better with my coffee consumption. I hardly ever drink it at all anymore. When I do, it's generally decaf. There's a few instances where I will allow myself to have some caffeine. And it's nowhere at the level, if there's a coffee pot full of coffee, I will drink it all. And I don't really feel affected by it. I could go to sleep and take a nap. I don't feel hyped up or hyper in any way. I just really enjoy the whole process of coffee. I like the smell. I like the way it tastes. And I decided that it's part of a ritual for me, especially when I'm working, because I'll stop at the same place and get the same cup of coffee or whatever, and I'll see the same people every morning before I go into work, and it just kind of creates a sense of quasi-camaraderie, and helps define part of my day, or you could perhaps say my identity or my ego. But it's definitely a ritual. And I've been having a lot of instances of coincidence, that's KA-Winkydinks, to the point where it's freaking me out, and I'm becoming very paranoid, and for sure that somebody has my brain tapped, because I'll think of something, and I tend to think in terms of keywords. So for instance, thinking about this trouble with coffee, the keyword was ritual, and then it seems like it's not much longer, throughout my day, I'll be given that keyword right back in my face in the form of some other representation. So today I was on my way to go get some lunch, and I was thinking about coffee and it being a ritual, and I got to the place where I was going to eat lunch, and I decided to have a cup of coffee, even though I've just been berating myself all morning for allowing me to do that yesterday. But I did it, and honestly, I've been feeling a lot better. I've noticed some of the negative attributes of having fatigued adrenals have been decreasing significantly. That's not to say that I need to just start drinking coffee all the time, but whatever. So I got my coffee, and I was thumbing through the little sugar packets, just to kind of like check them out in the hopes that maybe they had like raw organic cane sugar, which I feel is somehow better than processed white sugar. And they didn't, but they had this packet of sugar, and I'm going to try to show it to you. I don't know how it's going to turn up on the camera, but it says, "I be damned if it does not say rituals on it," with a little cup of coffee, because somebody knows my brain so well. And this was the only packet of ritual sugar in the little container on my table. All the rest were like Domino sugar and like some other bastard brand of fake sugar that comes from bacteria poop or something, you know. But yeah, so that freaked me out. This is an example of the coincidences that I have been having on a nonstop basis for like the last good long while. And normally I would take this as Jacqueline DuBois calls them holy resonators, and it's kind of like a place marker on your map of life that shows you you're headed in the right direction. And that's normally how I would take this as well. But in this circumstance, I tend to believe that the culture I'm immersed in is supporting my negative habits and is bound and determined to give me every excuse to keep exploiting myself in the name of these negative habits that don't necessarily serve me to the best capability at all times. So, I'm curious if anybody else has any kind of weird thing going on like this. I tend to take this like really deep and personally, even though it's such a small thing, but that's how my brain operates. I think in keywords. So yeah, let me know if you have creepy things going on like this too. I'd love to hear all about it. Peace.